Okie dokie, getting ready to try and sort out one of the last sort of big problems on the bike, and that is the fact the dynamo is not charging, or rather, the battery is not charging. So basically, we have a dynamo that's supposed to generate current. That then goes to the regulator, which regulates the amount of current the dynamo gives out so it doesn't overcharge the battery. And from there, it goes to the battery via the ammeter. Now, at the moment, it's definitely not charging. So it's either the dynamo or the regulator or possibly the wiring. So what I've done is the first thing I've done has been to check the dynamo. Now, to check the dynamo, to check whether it's working, what you do is you remove the wires that are already in the end of the dynamo, pull them out, and you put two other wires in to those connections, and then connect the ends of those wires together so the two connections are now joined, and then either put a bulb or to that, and one side to those wires and the other side to earth, or in our case, I connected one side of the circuit tester or voltage tester to the wire coming out of the dynamo, and the other wire to earth. Started the bike to see what would happen. And lo and behold, it started to chuck out a huge amount of voltage. So it went up to about 18, 19 volts even. Very high voltage, which is exactly what you'd expect, because that's why you have a regulator, because that is always checking out high voltage at revs. At low revs, being a dynamo, it hardly gives out anything. But as soon as you increase the revs, wow, bang, it kicks in and off it goes and starts charging the bike. Which, by the by, is why you generally have alternators, because alternators will work much better at low revs. Oh, so if you're sitting in traffic and that, with the dynamo, your battery is almost certainly slowly going flat if you've got your lights on and that. They work fine, at revs, but at low revs, they don't kick it out. Anyway. Right, so it would appear that the dynamo is working, and therefore it's either a fault with the regulator or with the wiring. The CVC unit control, compensated voltage control. Now the wiring is simple. It's only two wires. One goes to the ammeter and then back again to the battery. And I've checked them and they're fine. So the only thing I can think of is that there's a fault with the regulator. But two things. On this bike, it's already had an up-rated regulator fitted. That looks like an old one, but inside there is a modern electronic regulator. So it shouldn't, it shouldn't have a problem. But there is a problem somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe it's been burnt out or something. So, and also it's not made anymore. The company that made that particular upgrade doesn't exist anymore. So I can't contact them for advice. So I've decided I'm going to change the regulator. So the main problem we have with changing the regulator is that it's mounted on the rear mudguard. Now, it shouldn't be mounted on the rear mudguard. It should actually be mounted here on the back, on the side of the battery. You see those two bolts there? That's actually, I think, where it's supposed to go originally. But at some point in its life, someone has moved it to the rear mudguard, which is fine. I think it's quite a neat installation there. But to take it off, we have to take the rear wheel out because I can't get to the nuts underneath the mudguard because the wheel's in the way. So we're going to have to take the rear wheel off, then take the CVC unit off, then get our replacement CVC unit, put that on, and put the back wheel in and so on. Whilst we're doing that, I'm also going to try and run a breather pipe all the way from this copper breather pipe here all the way up up and under the mudguard, and coming out the back of the mudguard to see if I can get the breather working without it pouring oil out. I don't know about that, but that's the idea. So it'll all run underneath the rear mudguard. Okay, so that's our plan. So first thing to do is we're going to take the rear wheel off so we can get to the old, new, as it were, regulator, take it off, get a new one, put that on, and so on. See how we go. Problem being that I've never taken the rear wheel off before, so we'll have to see, step by step. I've got an idea. It's what we call a quick release, or allegedly quick release. So I think the idea is that the chain and the brake plate stay in position on this side, and just the wheel comes out with the main spindle, and like the sub spindle on this side stays where it is, along with the brake plate and the sprocket and the chain, and just the wheel comes out. I think we'll find out. There we go. So the first thing we do is we disconnect the wire that goes to the rear light. Then we loosen this nut here, which holds this stay to the rear mudguard, and we loosen the corresponding nut on the other side, so both stays are loosened. And then we undo this nut on the top of the mudguard, which holds the two mudguards together, and hopefully the rear section of the mudguard should now lift away. Yeah, oh good, which it has done. Hurrah. Okay, so that's good. Okay, but I still, there's no way I can get my hand in to get to the CVC unit. So what we're doing now is then we're going to then carry on removing the rear wheel. Okay, now there's no actual manual for this bike, workshop manual, because it's too old. So I do have, one thing I do have is this little book, F.W. Neal, Motorcycle Maintenance and Repair for the Matchless. And this just kind of touches, just old enough, this book, it just gives you lots of general info, and it's just old enough to touch on removing the rear wheel on this bike, hopefully. So let's have a look. Yeah, so the rear wheel is quick detachable, allegedly. So what you do is you undo these long bolts. They go all the way, they start here and they screw in over there. So you're going to undo those. And these, quite sensibly, on this bike have been a lot wired together. Because I have seen a picture of, there's only 3 of these bolts to hold the whole rear wheel in, and I did see a photo once of someone riding along and one was missing completely. So there's only 2 holding the whole wheel on. It's a bit scary. So good idea to lock wire them as this one's been done, and we'll be lock wiring them back up later on. So I think we undo these 3, and at the same time we've got the sort of wheel spindle that goes through, and that's on this nut. We undo this nut and hopefully knock the wheel spindle through, from what I can gather, with the sort of secondary spindle remaining in place with the chain, etc., still in place, and the brake drum, and so just the actual wheel coming off. This is what I'm led to believe. So that's what we'll do. We'll loosen this nut and have a go at driving the, take it off, have a go, see if we can actually drive this spindle out. I don't know if it'll actually clear the silencer. We might have to take the silencer off. Supposedly it should clear the top of that silencer, but I'm not sure it will. And then undo these long bolts, and allegedly then the wheel should come out to the right and out. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to try removing these 3 bolts. So first thing I'm going to do is to cut the lock tab, lock wiring. There we go. And then let's see if it helped. Oh, there we go. That's one loosened off. Good. Second. There we go. Second. Good. All good so far. And the third one. There we go. Okay, so that's all. These three. And go right across. And they bolt onto the brake plate. So we take these three out. Okay. So then we undo the big nut on this end. The big spring. This is all Whitworth. And we take this nut off. There's a big nut on this end, big like sleeve nut. So I've taken that sleeve nut off. Now I'm not sure. Right, I'm not sure now whether that's, now I've taken that big nut off, whether the spindle will come out. There is another nut, I'll just show you. So, let's have a look. Yeah. So, I've taken this like sleeve nut off here, off the end there of the spindle. But obviously there's now another big nut here. And I'm not sure whether I need to take that off. That seems to be on a different, or whether, this is thinner and that's thicker. So I'm not sure whether the spindle goes through that. And this nut is just holding the brake plate, etc. on, which is what I'm hoping. So I'm going to try tapping this through, to see if that'll be great. Then, the rest of it just stays in situ. That's what I'm hoping. So we'll see. I'll tap that, give it a tap, and let's see. I'll put the camera on this end, and what we're hoping is that this is going to start coming out. But of course, whether or not it does is a whole different matter. And I'll try it, and I can whack it a bit harder. Oh yes, it does come out. Look at that. But are we going to miss the silencer? Probably not. Look at it. On the safe side, I better get the silencer out of the way. I can see there's a very slight scratch on the top of the silencer here, and that's probably where this has come out before. And I don't think there's quite enough room really. In an emergency, you could knock it. But the obvious thing to do in this case, I think there's only like one. This only bolt holds. That's the only bolt holding the silencers on the frame. So I'm going to take that bolt off, and that'll just hopefully just give us a bit of room to lower the silencers and get this shaft out without doing any damage. Let's see if we can get this bugger out. There we go. Nuts and bolts going everywhere. Always a good idea to put them back where they come from, so that you've got some. Oh look, I've got a baffle on the end of there. Yeah, put them back. If you can, screw a bolt back where it came from, so you've got a rough idea where the hell it goes back again. Right, good. Okay, so now we should be able to carry on drifting that, drifting the spindle out. Let's go. There we go. One of those jobs that, supposedly you do easily by the roadside. With this quick release rear wheel.
Right, so the spindle's now going to come out. I'm assuming that this spacer here is probably going to fall out at the same time. Or two spacers, is it? It's two spacers. Yeah, so there's like a big washer and then a spacer. Again, I'll put them on there so I know where they go. And then hopefully we just move this across to the right. And off she comes. There we go. Yeah, I see. There. Let's move it back a bit. Yeah, so there we have the back wheel out. So I can now get to the bolts up here, which hold the dear old CVC unit in, which is the whole point of taking the back wheel out in the first place. But I'm glad, you know, in some ways, though, just pick this up, I'm glad that, you know, we've had to take the back wheel out because, you know, I like to know how things work a bit. You know, I bought this bike and, you know, I didn't know how to take the back wheel out. It's one of those, you know, so now at least I have some idea of how you do take the back wheel out. You know, I like to know how things work. So if something's going a bit funny, you go, oh, hang on, maybe it's, you know, whatever it is you think is going wrong. You know, I don't like riding a bike. You've got no idea, you know, how it goes together or anything. So, yeah, so, you know, and as back wheels taken out go, that's pretty straightforward. Helped a lot, of course, by the fact you can take the rear mudguard, the rear of the rear mudguard off, leaving the front section of the rear mudguard on.